Do you ever wonder what to do with all of your stuff, all of your wires, your charger, your pens in your backpack? Well, I have a solution for you. Hi, I'm Penny with So Chill Sewing Studio. I have a solution for you, and today we're going to make this little pencil slash tech pouch. It's really cute and the perfect size. You can go ahead and slip in your pens, your little charger brick, any little doodad that you need. If you need a cord, whatever this thing is, we can put it all in here and zip it up and then just slip it in our backpack. This is super easy to make, and you can make it with scraps. So let's get started. So here's the next thing we're going to make. It's just a little, it can be anything you want. And I went ahead, you can see I put my label in here. I used the flag and the paisley on the inside as well as the outside. You can play with it. You can have like all paisley in here, all flag outside, or the opposite. Super, super simple. And I just have a little Hobby Lobby zipper, nothing fancy. You can use it as, a pencil case, tech gear. Once you have all of your items, you can just kind of throw it in there with some pens and whatever you need. And it doesn't look like a makeup bag. It's just, and it'll fit in the backpack nicely. And it'll just be something that I think they will use for a long time. And it's washable. You just, if it gets dirty, no problem, just throw it in the wash. So we're going to start out with, we need 4 pieces of fabric. And they all need to be 5 inches. We're going to go 5 inches here by 10. So this works out great if you have a couple of layer cakes. You can cut them in half. We're just going to cut 4 pieces, 2 pieces of the flag and 2 pieces of the paisley, 5 by 10 inches. All right, so I need 2 pieces, 5 by 10. Let's cut the selvages off. May just get in the way. Let's turn it over because it's not quite lined up there. All right, so we've got 5. Now we're going to cut it by 10. I've got stuff everywhere on my board at the moment. It's always in the wrong spot. Okay, so I'm just going to take this, bring it down to my 10-inch mark. And I know all my lights are showing, but I know you can still see. Just, I have that right there. Can't really help that. Okay, so this could be the inside of the bag, inside and outside, like I did. Either way, it really doesn't matter. All right, so we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to go ahead and cut off 5 inches. Seems like after I sew a while, I have stuff everywhere. Are you like that? I start out nice and neat, and then I end up not so neat. And then it takes a minute to clean up. That's just sometimes the life of a creator. Okay, now we want 10 inches this way. All right, so I have 4 pieces. I have 2 of one color and 2 of the other pattern, I should say, not color. Now I'm going to need 2 pieces of batting, and I like this Warm and Natural. You can use whatever batting you have on hand. These are just scraps, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay it on top like that, and then just cut this down to size. It's fine if it's a little bit bigger. I will be trimming it. I'm going to be quilting and trimming. So let's just make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so I think I will do one that's out. This is going to be my outside fabric. All right, so we're going to lay that on there just like that. And this one too. Now this is my favorite spray. Everybody has their own way of basting. Some people like to pin. I do not. I like this spray. It doesn't smell. I'll put a link down below for it. And it just helps hold everything in place to where it's not coming off. And it doesn't gum up. I don't know how they do it, but it doesn't gum up my needle. I've never had an issue with that at all. And I just a light little spritz. You don't need a whole lot. And then you can iron it down if you want. That just kind of helps adhere. So now I'm going to take it to the sewing machine. I'm going to start quilting. You can do any kind of quilting you want. I'm just going to do straight line about 1.5 inches, and I usually start at the left side, and then I'll show you how I put my little, let me just find it right here. I have a little quilting device, little quilting arm. I'm going to stick in my sewing machine, and then my stitches will go right under that arm. So let's go to the sewing machine and I'll show you how to do that. So back here I have a little hole to where this fits in, and it's pretty tight. Now this one does have a screw, so my one downstairs does not. So I'm going to bring my arm in, and let's see, where's my inch mark? Right here. There's a 7/8. Okay, we'll do 1 inch. Looks bigger than 1 inch, doesn't it? It's fine. It really doesn't matter. Just as long as everything looks, uniform. In my opinion, it doesn't have to be uniform. I'm just going to pull this thread out. Now the first line of stitching, I just use my 1/4 inch right here. Now most machines have the stitch length is 2.5. I'm going to go ahead and make this one 3. I like quilting just to be a little bit longer of a stitch length. And I'm just going to hold on here and start stitching. No back stitch needed. Okay, so this stitching right here is what goes under this arm. And I'm going to be watching here instead of here. And I'm going to be watching to make sure I'm going down exactly down this line. So I'm not looking here, I'm looking here. I've got 2 lines of stitching, and now you'll see I'm putting the arm down on this other line that I just stitched. And I'm just going to keep going. so you see we've got extra batting here, so I'm just going to take my ruler and just trim that off. I'm going to do that on all 4 sides on both pieces. All right, there's one piece. Now let's trim this one down. I promise the zipper is not scary. You'll change your foot on your machine to a zipper foot and it makes it super easy. If you have a really narrow foot, like an 1/8 of an inch, you can use that. Those mainly come with the commercial machines, which that's on my list. That's something I want to get next. And looking at the Juki TL 2010Q. You have one and you love it, you hate it, let me know. Okay, so we're going to take one piece and I think I'll just do these opposite. Why not? Make sure your zipper is a little bit longer than your piece. So what we're going to do is line that up to the top. I'm putting the zipper pull down in the down position because when we sew it on, it's going to be like that. Okay, now we're going to take our piece of fabric and we're going to line it up and take a few clips. Make sure it's all lined up. I usually clip at the ends first and then one in the middle. You can pin it if you want. I find it's just not necessary. And then put these to a side because we're working on one side at a time. So I'm going to take out my little quilting arm and I'm going to take off this foot. This, on this machine, this is the zipper foot. Looks kind of weird. For the longest time I put it on wrong. I put it on this way. And I found out if you have a FOF, the 4, that number 4 should face you. Otherwise, because I kept thinking this one has a built-in walking foot and it wasn't working. So I had to disengage. Well, come to find out it was user error. Of course it was. Okay. So you can see I've got it set on the left side because I'm coming down. I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to start like right here. And this piece is going to go right along this zipper. I am going to back stitch. I don't like this one as much as the one, my other machine, but you just kind of have to feel, and then that goes along the side. But it's what I have, so just gotta figure it out. You'll see it's kind of puckering up. Don't worry, don't stress over that. We can trim that off. We did lose a little bit of fabric when we quilted, so it's going to be normal to have a little extra on that side, and we can trim it before we stitch that part down. Again, every sewing machine is just a little bit different. You just have to work with what you got. pinning at this point will help. I didn't do that, so I'm just going to trim that part off. So you'll see what I mean, and this is going to be natural because I did quilt and it's going to squinch in the fabric just a bit. I lost some, but I can go ahead and cut here and no one will ever know. So let's take it to the iron. We're going to go ahead and open this up, iron it down, and then we'll do the other side. Okay, so I usually just kind of finger press that to one side. And then I do the same with my quilted side. And then I'm going to make sure the bottoms line up. And then just slightly tug on the zipper. And then I'm going to, oh, this does work out really well doing this. Okay, I like this for this reason. This is my little turntable ironing board. We're just getting those out of the way. We will top stitch it down in a moment, just not right now, because I would have to swap out my zipper foot, and I don't want to do that just yet. Okay, so now we need the other half of the bag. So we're going to go ahead and figure out, if it's a directional print, just make sure that when you pull it up like this, the direction is going the way you want it to. This one is not, so I don't have to worry about it. But I do want to line up my sides of the quilted and the top of my zipper. Then I'm going to flip it over. I'm just going to make sure, yep, that looks good. And then I'm going to add my lining, just lining everything up. I'm going to line it up with my quilted part, not the extended part. Then I'm going to go ahead and add a clip. One thing I have done to kind of help keep this in line is I sew on the batting side up. That does seem to help. So instead of sewing on this side, I'll stitch on this side. So we'll do that this next time. Okay, so we don't have to move our zipper foot at all. I am going to pull that out with, there we go. This wasn't enough. Okay, so we're just going to line it up and start stitching, back stitch just a bit, and just make sure all the pieces are there. And you can kind of decide if you like the batting side up or the fabric side up. I think on this machine, it really doesn't matter. All right. So that's how easy it is to install a zipper. We are going to go ahead, we'll finger press this down, make sure that our bottoms line up. Give a little tug, and then I'm going to iron it all down. Now I am using a nylon zipper, so I want to be sure I don't melt it. But one thing I'm looking for is this to be lined up in here. going to give it a slight tug. Yeah, I'm liking this rotating ironing board. It's kind of expensive. It was like $80. And I thought, okay. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and top stitch this down. And then I'll show you what to do with the zipper, and it's almost done. So I need to take off my zipper foot. I'm all through with it now. And I want to add my favorite one here. And I'm just going to make sure that my little edge, left edge here is against the zipper. And you'll see it'll just help things look really even. So I'm kind of watching my left side here. Now I'm going to go down the other side. You'll see it finishes it off. It just looks so much better. Okay. All right, so let's go back to the ironing board and I'll show you the next step. Now we're ready to put the pouch together. And so in order to do that, we need to unzip this. Unzip it about 2/3 of the way so you have that much to work with. I know it looks weird right now, but it's okay. And the next thing I want to do is go ahead and line this up and trim off all of this. And we're going to do the same thing on this side, but just be sure that this is down here. Now, one time I had this zipped up and I trimmed it. There's no recovery from that. Ask me how I know. So this is a little off here, as you can see. Just fine. We're just going to trim all of this up. So just line it up and trim this down. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take our quilted sides and put them together. We are going to line up this right here. Pull our lining to the top so it looks like this. And we want to make sure that this part here is even. And we're just going to go ahead and stick a clip there. I always like to line up the zipper part first and then I work around it. So again, make sure it lines up. That looks good. The zipper teeth should be on the top. Okay, now I'll just go ahead and stick a few clips. Those are really small. Around it. And up here, we're going to leave an opening. So we're going to leave an opening in the center. You can add a label if you want. I'm not going to on this one. go ahead and just work this one again. There we go. Had some of the lining caught, so it wasn't lining up, lining up down here. And if it does do this, pull it down, and then we'll trim it, because it just might on this side too. There we go. All right, so now we're going to line this up with the bottom. It's just still kind of lumpy right there. And it could have happened, the adjustment could have happened in the sewing, or like right here. I'm going to pull this piece up, make sure it's flat. There, that's better. That's much better. Okay, so just play with it. Those are so small. Okay, so we're going to start here. We're going to stitch to here, come down here, back stitch a couple stitches down around where it's got that zipper, it's thick, and then up, and then we're going to stop here with leaving this the opening. All right, so we've got it stitched. We have our opening. Just like we've been doing on our smaller projects, we're going to trim the bulk off of these corners, just like that. Down here too, I want to make sure I caught everything. Looks like I did. Yes, good. Okay, we're going to trim off that right there. And here, you can trim this if you'd like. I usually do. This is the outside of the pouch. Now, another thing I like to do to reduce bulk is I trim down this side and I get kind of close to that zipper stitching. Just like that. I'm going to do it the same on the other side. Helps the zipper kind of pop out. All right, so this is the moment of truth if you kept your zipper open. If not, good luck. So I'm going to go in here. This is my opening, and then I also have my zipper that's open.
and I can unzip it some more if I can. And then I'm just going to go ahead and pull everything through. Get those corners pushed out. Where is my corner? There it is. Use my little tool. I'm telling you, this is a lifesaver. If you have a chopstick, that works too. I do not. Not something I have in my house, only when I go out to restaurants. Okay, so we're going to push that out so it looks the best it can be. It's going to be a little rounded because it's bulky. That's okay, it's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so let's push that out. Ooh, that did really good. That's why you take the bulk off of the zippers. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, so we're going to keep the lining out. We're going to unzip all the way, pull the lining out, pull the corners out. You don't have to use this as a tech case. You can use it for makeup, whatever, little tools, makeup brushes, whatever you want. Okay, so here I'm gonna go ahead and iron that down. Tuck those in. You can trim them or just tuck them in. Might be easier to trim. Okay, so I'm going to iron that down. And then I'm just going to start here and I'm going to stitch all the way down to close that gap up. All right, we're almost done. I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch, just like always when I'm top stitching. Okay, so I'm going to take off these threads right here. Got a couple right here. And I'm going to give this a quick press while the lining's not in there. Now, all we're ready to do is to poke that lining down in there, get the corners nice and pushed in just like that. And we're ready to zip it up. And it is done. I think I'll give it one last press. And there we go. We've got our little tech pouch. And you can put pins, you can put whatever you want in it. It's just a nice size, and you can just throw it in your backpack and it won't take up that much room.
I hope you found the sew along simple and that you'll want to make your pouch too. You can go ahead and mix fabrics like I did, keep it all the same. You're in control of your own pouch, and it just gives you a nice place to put all of your little goodies that you collect at the bottom of your backpack. You know who I'm talking about. And have it in one spot, so it's super simple to go ahead and find what you need. So if you love this video, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I will see you